Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. This is a Saturday night edition of the Jeff and Rye Hockey Podcast with Jeff, Rye, and Steph. I'm Rye with Jeff and Steph as always. We have an exciting announcement. The Jeff and Rye Hockey Podcast is proud to announce that we are partnering with Tillsbury Pizza Boy. If you're in the Tilbury area, you need to check these guys out. Cash, credit, or debit available on delivery for your convenience. This coming weekend, Saturday, February 13th and Sunday, February 14th, they have some great Valentine's Day specials lined up for you. For $37.99, you have your choice of two fantastic options. You can either go with a medium specialty pizza, pound of wings, large salad, and garlic bread with cheese, or if you're looking for something a little bit more romantic, you can also get two chicken parm panes dinners with penne pasta, large salad, and garlic bread with cheese. Add dessert to any special with your choice of deep fried candy bar. Oreo, Snickers, or Mars bars options are available, or go for the ready medium apple pizza pie. Visit their website for more info at tilburypizzaboy.com. That's TILSBURY pizzaboy.com. We're going to start the show a little different here tonight, folks. We got an employee of an NHL club joining us today. His name is Blake Blondeel. He works for Calgary Sports and Entertainment Company, which includes the NHL Calgary Flames, the WHL's Calgary Hitmen, the National Lacrosse League's Calgary Roughnecks, the CFL Calgary Stampeders, and the AHL Stockton Heat. So without further ado, Blake Blondeel, welcome to the show.
Blake.
How's it going, boys? You guys got sponsors now, making it big.
Big time, big time, buddy.
No, that's awesome, guys.
Because we affectionately call Moose.
What's that?
I said we affectionately call you Moose. That's your nickname.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. You guys, I can't say anybody in Calgary knows that nickname, but it's.
I can't say
they're gonna
Calgary probably listen to this, but that's awesome if they do. Appreciate it.
Well, I'll share it.
Everybody's going to call you Moose now, man, for sure. So, yeah, just to get started before we get into what you do for the Flames and all the other teams that are represented under the umbrella of teams there, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why we're having you on the show, I guess.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, I'm from Tilbury, Ontario, obviously. Some people might know me in the area. Grew up playing hockey, played a bit of hockey with you guys, obviously, and eventually went in, played AAA for Chatham Maroons there, and or the Chatham Cyclones, and you know what, made a good impression, and played my 16-year-old year with Dresden, and ended up making the Maroons from there, and then I guess had a couple stints and cracks and attempts at the O. Went to night camp, went to golf camp a little bit there. And I know we were talking earlier, I got to play with guys like, since it's a hockey podcast, I figure I'll share my hockey background with you guys.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I played with like Tavares at night camp, and it was funny. Just I'm in the room with that guy because he was on my team, and lucky enough got to be on a line with him for a game. But I'm just like staring at his legs, and the poor guy probably thought I was checking him out. But basically, I was just like looking at his legs. I was looking at mine. I was just like, geez, that's what it takes. Eh?
Well, at least you weren't looking at what's between his legs, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good point.
At least it's just the legs.
Yeah, exactly. But John Carlson was there too, and it was funny. So I was playing against him, and I go and hit him, and basically he just looks at me and he's just like, "Don't you ever effing hit me again." so just some plug out there at the end of the day, but ended up going back, finishing up my junior career with Chatham. Didn't have much in the tank or in the option bill, I suppose, when I was finishing up. So picked up the phone, called the University of Windsor coach, and basically was just like, yeah, you can come out for a tryout. I can't promise you anything. We got a pretty full roster, but by all means, come out, compete, see what happens. And yeah, it was a walk on to the University of Windsor men's hockey team, and played 5 years there. Three in which I was a captain for the team, and 3 of my last 5 years. And won an OUA championship. Went to a couple national championships, and I guess more importantly, out of all that hockey journey and experiences, ended up going and completing a master's degree, and it's really opened the door to where I'm at now. And took a risk in moving out to Calgary, and was working at a mall for about 3 weeks here before I even had a job. But yeah, ended up landing with the Flames, and it's a pretty fast, fun pace or moving organization, and I absolutely love it.
So that's great. Obviously, we knew all that, but it's good for the fans to get some basis about kind of what led you to where you're at today. Transitioning from your playing career to working for an NHL club. What exactly do you do for the Calgary Sports and Entertainment Company? Just to kind of give again the fans some base about what you do.
Yeah, so in normal times, I'm in group sales and season ticket sales for all 4 of the teams that you mentioned, minus the AHL team with Stockton there, because they're in Stockton. But yeah, in a normal year, I'm doing that. And these times, I mean, we're still selling a bit of season tickets, but it's more so going to the games in a limited capacity. So going to a few games and just assisting with the media and PR team.
Right on, Blake. How many people are like roughly going into an NHL arena right now on any given night? Like, would you have a rough number to be able to give us, or do you think it kind of varies per team? Or
yeah, it definitely varies per team. I mean, I'm just trying to, off the top of my head, think of how many people were in the building. I went and worked the last Sunday game where the Flames played the Leafs, and I want to say there was maybe 50 people in there. It's tough to say, though. It's very limited, very limited. I mean, even so, my job was to really just escort like the Leafs taxi squad, show them where they're sitting for the game. And when like Dubas came in, so I just showed him where his suite was, showed him where like he could grab his food, and just if he had any questions, he could kind of just come ask me anything. So I mean, for the Leafs, they had three guys that were up there in terms of taxi squad, and then there was Dubas and another, one of his assistant GMs with them. So they had 5 guys there, right? So on a normal game, they probably would have 10. Or who knows? Right?
Yeah, for sure. That's I'm sure the arena probably, like, when it's empty like that, even it probably doesn't look like there's much people there, even if there's a couple hundred, because it's so spaced out too, right?
Yeah, and it could have been 100. It was just so spaced out. I mean, the fake crowd noise just was doing it.
What is that like, the fake crowd noise? Like, it actually sounds pretty good on TV. Does it look weird when you're actually there, like looking at no crowd?
It's different. But they do a pretty good job, like with the timing of it. Like you said, it does kind of bring that atmosphere on TV a little bit. So, I mean, they do the good job with the timing. It doesn't sound off or anything, but it is just odd when you're used to seeing 20,000 people in that building on any given game.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Blake, I know you said that you were kind of the chauffeur for the Leafs taxi squad.
Did Dubas get Rye's resume? That's what he wants to know. That's what he's asking you right now. Right. Carry on, bud.
Pretty much. Did you pass along though?
I gave him Rise drop the gloves little URL. With all his hockey fights.
You know what? Rise had some really good hockey fights though. Steph can point to that as well, I'm sure.
The Richtown one's my favorite.
Oh, same here.
We're getting off
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring up that Richtown one.
That was a good one. But, Rye, you can go back there. Sorry, bud.
No, that's okay. I don't mind you guys talking about my fighting career because that was pretty much all I was good at.
Smiling as we're talking about it, loving life.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Tell me more.
Do I hit very hard?
No, I'm just curious about like we had talked about the other day. I know you're kind of a stylish guy, so just curious about the fits that the boys were wearing walking in the rink, and who was kind of the best dressed Leaf.
Yeah. Well, Dubas was kind of just looking like his normal self, I guess. But I'd probably say I don't know a lot of the guys' faces, but I knew like Robertson was there, and I gotta say that Sandin was probably the best dressed looking guy. He's got that what is it, Swedish or Finnish flair to him? So
Swedish, yeah. Swedish.
I got one question for you. Did you look at his thighs?
Yeah. No, I didn't quite get down that.
Didn't bend over and fake tie your shoe or nothing.
I was too busy
Passing the resume.
I know you were talking about Dubas there. I know. Did you get a chance to talk to him at all, or like anything interesting?
Not really. Like he was the first one at the game, like 2 hours before the game, and he basically just pulls up his laptop and gets to work. Like that guy's dedicated. There's a reason why he's where he's at the age he's at. Like I said, he was there the first one at the game 2 hours before the game, basically when the doors opened. And I mean, when a guy's that not intense, but just that like focused, you could tell like you don't really want to bother him in a way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that was the main thing.
Yeah. So I know you got a few good stories there from being in Calgary now for, 2.5 years. We had kind of talked about again the other day, you had a pretty interesting Iggy retirement night. Kind of, if you want to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it kind of started, I guess, the week really prior. So we knew that like this retirement night was happening, obviously before, I guess, general public really knew. But he's like walking inside the building, and where I'm located inside the offices, our office is located inside the Saddle Dome. And he's like where I'm located, he'll walk right by like all the time. And like the first time he walked by, I was just so like starstruck, kind of caught off guard, because I didn't expect Iggy to walk right by me, right? And he's just got this like aura about him, and kind of just this persona where it just like illuminates the room. And I mean, maybe it's just because he's played at that high pedestal where he's looked up so much when you're a young kid, but like it was just super cool to see. And I was at one point I thought I'd have to yell Iggy so he'd give me a backdoor pass to win the golden goal or something. But no, it's just really cool to like see him, and he gives me a little head nod, and you're just like, all right, well, I appreciate
Iggy
that.
head nod, that's life.
Yeah,
majestic creature he is.
Yeah, and like in terms of the night, like it was awesome. Like just luckily enough, I had won a sales competition for the game, and ended up I was lower bowl seats looking directly at the ceremony. And it was funny. So like we had before the game, we were supposed to lay out all these T-shirts on every single seat in the building. But they weren't there about, let's say, 30 minutes before puck drop, or maybe an hour before puck drop. So they basically got there, and we got 20,000 odd seats in that building. So we had a company-wide email go out and basically just said, whoever is in this building, if you're available, we need your help. And like we ended up finishing it before they went out on warm-ups, but talk about just like a fast-paced industry, and it doesn't always work out as planned, but you make it happen. But yeah, just
stop scrubbing your toilet and get down here.
Pretty much. But just the whole night for Iggy, it was so well done. And I mean, obviously he's a legend in Calgary, and I know he didn't finish his career here, but he's just such a well-known figure in the community, and it was just really well put on by.
Not so well known in Boston, apparently.
Yeah. Don't ask him about the weather.
So I just want to clarify to all our listeners of the podcast that we're talking about Jerome McGinley, the ex-captain of the Calgary Flames, just to clarify.
Thanks, Bill Nye. We appreciate that.
Loved it.
So anyways, Blake, just wanted to touch on a couple things. I know you've kind of organized a couple events while you were there. The staff hockey tournament, which, as boring as it sounds, is actually a pretty cool story. Obviously getting to play with some alumni and whatnot. And then also the alumni versus the first responders game, which obviously, gives a big shout out to those first responders. So if you can just tell kind of those two stories in your own words.
Yeah, I think the first probably more important thing right now is to just focus on the first responders with what they're doing and everything right now, given COVID and everything. But what we did for that alumni game and first responders was one of my special groups that I work with is first responders. So that's fire, EMS, and AHS, so the whole umbrella there. But basically, we just organized 2 games where we gave a $5 kickback to the organizations for everybody that bought a ticket, and we organized a Flames versus alumni game. We had like Mason Grayman out there, Mike Commodore, to name a few guys, anyways. And then some other guys I didn't really know. But,
hey, Blake, I got a question. Is Mason Raymond as fast as NHL 2010 makes him on the video game? Because I just remember using Mason Raymond on the video game, dude, and I could go like 100 miles an hour up the ice, like end to end with him.
No, but he still looks like he's like 18 years old.
So does Jeff.
He looks so young.
Yeah. Mason Raymond kind of had that disease, the Todd Chapman disease, which for anybody who doesn't know who that is, he can skate really fast in a straight line. Stop it.
What's the Mighty Ducks guy called? Mendoza?
Yeah, Mendoza.
Louis Mendoza. He can't stop. But and then so we organized that. It's super cool. I had the kids out and everything, and obviously they get to see like mom and pops out on the rink with Flames alumni. And then I think probably the coolest thing that our organization does is we call it the Finance Cup. So it's basically we do like a big company draft. I'll say I went 3rd overall.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. But
that might be trademark. Careful.
We do like it's a video draft. So like some upper management's in there, like Craig Conroy's in there drafting. We have our Martin Jelena was in there. Who else was in there? The GM for the Hitmen was in there drafting the teams, and then the GM for the Roughnecks, and then a couple other management folks. So they broadcast that live. Like it's basically like a week leading up to the event day, and then they will have like trades by email throughout the week, and like it'll be like for a case of beer and whatnot. Like it's just good fun. And then really the day of, we come to the rink. It's a normal work day, but we're essentially just playing hockey all day, and it's a tournament style round robin bracket. And you're playing against guys like Jelena, Conroy, McGrattan, who's pretty scary out there still. Brian McGrattan, and he goes hard. Like, he does not mess around. And like,
Johnny Gohard,
what's that?
The Johnny Gohard, eh? Even in the alumni game.
You know what?
He's
I'm
a
not going to
scary
chirp
man.
him, because
Yeah,
if
he's
he
a
ever
scary
listened
man.
to this, he'd beat the shit out of me.
I do not blame you at all, Blake. I do not blame you at all.
Exactly. Yeah, and like, I remember I was on one of the games, my job was basically to shadow Martin Jelena, which is pretty awesome. I guess I was in his back pocket all game. I don't know if he liked it or he didn't like it. But and then I guess another just small story after that was I was on a breakaway, and all of a sudden, like, Craig Conroy comes out of nowhere and just back checks me, and I'm just like, well, I guess you still got it a little bit.
How many Pims have you taken in that tournament?
Just kind of smirks.
And I say that asking you this question because I'm looking
You
at
know
your
what?
stats here, and you played 27 games one year at the University of Windsor, and you had 109 penalty minutes in 27 hockey games. Is that stat wrong, or is that real? Did that happen?
No, I was angry that year. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's accurate. And if you look at the next year, though,
complete different Blake. Yes, complete different human.
Yeah. Coach brought me in. He's like, smarten up, like be better. I'm gonna give you. I think it was the year he gave me the C, and he's just like, you can't be doing this.
109.
Give you this.
Like, did you guys play a whole period shorthanded or what? Holy.
You know what, though? That's no fights, no tests.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's university hockey. Yeah, no fights.
Yeah, you don't fight there, so it's.
So were you out there just like a lumberjack, just hacking away, or what?
Yeah, sometimes. I played that.
Yeah, no doubt. It seems like it.
Kind of wanted to touch on a couple other things. Obviously, since you've been there in Calgary, that is the organization you work for has seen a couple of championships, a National Lacrosse League championship and a Grey Cup. I know that when talking about championships, we're not talking about the Flames. You might be GM before they win another cup, but
Shots fired.
I'll take that bet.
But yeah, no. If you want to touch on those two championships, I think those are two pretty cool stories.
You know what? The Leafs have 8 wins.
On cloud nine.
He's on cloud nine. Cup and how long that was? Like,
Nine.
Rise kids might be GM.
We got 9 wins, just in case anybody's counting. 9 wins.
No, but in terms of the Roughnecks championship, it was last year, or 2019, and just super cool. Like, we're the only NLL franchise that basically bolsters on average about 13 to 15,000 fans a game for a lacrosse game. It's those games are so much fun. Like, it's kind of like going to an NCAA game where the fans are in it. They have a goal song where all the fans get up and cheer, chant a song. And it's just a lot of fun. And obviously the beer's flowing and the food's flowing. But like, we had for the finals, we were sold out, completely sold out for that game, and it was just on another level. And the Grey Cup, so we hosted it last year, and I mean, we had Keith Urban in the building, and just super cool to be a part of like the hosting volunteer part of it, and obviously getting to work behind the scenes and kind of getting that experience. And then, I mean, yeah, the Flames, it'll come one day. We'll see when that comes, but we're
well. Speaking of the Flames, I know that they haven't looked good on the stat sheet, but the real question is, do they look good in the new jerseys? What do you think of the retro jerseys?
I don't mind them. I think there's some better ones out there. I mean, they're definitely better than Detroit's and the Leafs, but like Detroit's looks like
we play like we're practicing too. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the Leafs. I don't know. I just don't like the color scheme, but I don't know the meaning behind Blasty. So it's tough for me to get completely behind it. And I don't think a lot of people in our organization besides the retail team knows the actual meaning behind Blasty. So unless you guys know.
Yeah. Are they setting horses on fire in Calgary, or what's the deal there?
I have
Whatever.
no
They got
idea.
sick
I
pads
still
and
don't
gear.
know
I
to this
like it.
day.
I like it.
Yeah, I do like the pads on
Yeah, they're looking sharp.
from there. Rich just came
What,
out
whites
the
there?
other day, and they look pretty good.
Yeah, I like those with the logo in the
Yeah,
middle.
the
'Cause
whites
you never
with
get to see the
the-
logo in the middle because no goalies are playing
Yeah.
like Tretiak back in the day with the pads stuffed together, standing there with their ass on a toilet seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
What teams have surprised you the most coming into the Saddle Dome this year, anyways?
Well, I think I'm gonna just reflect on last year when like fans were in the building. I think when Colorado came in and beat us out in the first round in 2019, like they were just on another level. Watching McKinnon, he was unbelievable. Just his 3-step stride was so fast.
That like
His
little snap
hands
that
were
he does
unreal.
when he goes bar, like to score that overtime goal, like that
Oh.
must have been filthy to see.
Yeah, it's just so fun to watch, and like it's tough to compare him with McDavid because they play a little bit different. Like McDavid's kind of that run and gun, I find, like get him the puck and he's gone. Whereas McKinnon, he's so shifty and you don't really know what he's going to do with the puck. Same with McDavid, but I just find he's a bit quicker. But I think the most surprising team for me this year is Montreal by far. They're just
Ottawa?
unbelievable right now. I
Beat
don't know.
Montreal. Just I don't know if you knew that. Okay.
I know, but I just don't think they have a lot of weapons, and they seem to keep winning. I think Price has something to do with that.
I tell Rye every day that Montreal's the big dog of the division. He doesn't like that.
It's because you're
Not anymore, but after today, number 1, first place in the North, baby.
don't count the Flames out yet. Don't count them out yet. They're a slow starter.
You and Jesse, eh? Jesse was like, "Oh, they're going to win the division easy. They're freaking like 500 or whatever they are. Come on."
I don't know if we'll win, but I think we'll definitely make playoffs. I don't know.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
almost don't want to win the division because we can't seem to get out of the first round when we win the division.
True. Although, I had them penciled in to make the playoffs on my predictions. I had them, Winnipeg, the Leafs, and Montreal. But yeah, no, I think they'll turn it around a little bit. Obviously, Vancouver's kind of taken a nosedive, and sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just said yep.
Oh yeah, and the Oilers, until they get there's some depth figured out and defense and goaltending, pretty much their whole team outside of McDavid and Draisaitl. Once they get that figured out, then they'll be all right.
In the last couple of years, like, just eating them.
Come on, Rye. You're just chewing them up, Rye. Come on.
All right. Yeah, no, while we still have you, Blake, we're going to get into Who Wore the Pylon. And another special announcement, our segment of Who Wore the Pylon also has a new sponsor. It's sponsored by Retro 21 Barbershop and Hair Salon. Now, guys, I know during this lockdown that our lives have been put on hold, including getting your flow trimmed up. Retro 21 Barbershop and Hair Salon in Tilbury, Ontario is the spot to get your salad cut or give you the nice fade you've been trying to give yourself since COVID started. Jeff, you know what I'm talking about. Not just for the lads. Tiffany works with any hair and will make all the ladies look and feel their best. Opening back up, government permitted, February 19th. Call to book your appointment today at 519-682-0353. That's 519-682-0353, or visit their Facebook page at Retro 21 Barbershop and Hair
Take
Salon.
care of your lettuce.
Now, getting into the who wore the pylon, boys.
Take
She
care of the
she
lettuce.
gives a great
That's
fade,
right.
boys.
Take care of
She
the
gives a
lettuce,
great
boys.
fade.
Yeah, I know she does, but I know that you've tried to give yourself one at
Holly
home,
puts
Jeff,
in a
and
good
didn't work
effort.
out so
She
great.
does her best. She does her best. Oh yeah.
Sticking up for the wife, I like it. Steph, let's
My
start with you.
pylon
Who
this
wore your
week
pylon
goes
this
to
week, bud?
Bell Media. Getting rid of my boy, Dan O'Toole. How do you do that? Jay and Dan have been a combo for years, putting laughter to little kids' hearts. And you
Yeah.
tear them apart. Just kind of broke me a little bit. It sucked. I hated to see it. So I had to put them on this week.
That's a great pick, Stace. I didn't even think about that one, bud.
Yeah, good thing.
I know that they're making cuts because of COVID and everything, but it's not like they're doing so bad. Like I said to you, they're still part owner of the Leafs. They can't be doing that bad. So, like we said, the rich keep getting richer, but it is what it is. Reeves, up to you.
I hate to do this because of Stace, my boy Stace, but I got to go with the Red Wings here. Like their last win was on January 19th.
Probably in our practice jerseys.
They started with the pair. This losing streak all started with 2 big L's to the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks aren't even supposed to be a good team this year. They've been outshot in every game in the last 8-game losing streak. They've been outshot every game but 2. 13 goals for and 33 goals against. They're definitely getting my pylon this week. Still can't figure it out.
That's fair enough.
What was
Bernier
that stat?
yeah.
What was that stat we seen the other day there, Reeves?
No Red Wing goalie other than Bernier has won a game in a Red Wings jersey in like 400 and something days. Like Steph, I'm checking the box scores of these Wings games the last 8, and dude, you guys have like put
every
2 or 3
great Empire
different
falls,
goalies.
boys. 26 good years. Every great Empire falls.
I think it was like
84. Get it right. 84.
Games or something.
No, days.
Oh,
Days.
sorry. One.
But since then, it's probably been a couple more days. So
Yeah.
You're a good
At least
sport,
you're
bro.
owning
boys, we're gonna finish worst
I'm
in the
right
league and pick 4th again. It's gonna be all right. The NHL sucks. They do us over. I get
it. Moose, who wore your pylon, bud?
I hate to do it to Hellenbuck because he's a great goalie, but Tana's goal from the blue. I got to go with the Flames scoring on Hellenbuck a couple games ago, all the way from the blue.
Did any of you guys actually see the Draisaitl goal on Hodberg? Or no?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it. Apparently, it was terrible.
Bad. But anyway, we'll move on. That's a good pick, Blake.
No.
Hellebuck's Canadian. Do you guys know that?
I was
going to myself from a couple episodes ago. It's okay.
I was gonna say. Yeah, he played NCAA. I'm pretty sure. So.
Yeah, no. I'm just joking around. My pylon this week's going to Ryan Hartman. I don't know if you guys seen the goal or not. Not the goal, but the play that Cale Makar made on him, but basically broke his ankle.
I heard he's still
should retire.
Right,
that was a terrible. I think.
Yeah, all the way to the moon.
All the way to the moon.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a good look. At least, I mean, for his sake, at least they didn't score on the play. But still, just Cale Makar, like what a defenseman that guy is.
I just watched the highlight pack of him last night. Oh my god, I creamed.
Yeah, he's something else. He is really good. But anyways, Blake, we wanted to thank you for coming on. Appreciate you giving us your time this late on a Saturday night. It was a pleasure talking to you, and we hope to have you on in the future, bud.
Yeah, thank you guys. And I just wanted to give you guys, a quick shout out. You guys are obviously growing and getting more views, and obviously getting some sponsors now, which is awesome. And you guys have found a good way to stay engaged when everybody's at home. And it's really good that you guys are doing this. And it's just great to obviously talk to you guys too. It's been
Thanks,
a long
Blake.
time.
Thanks
so
a
I
lot,
appreciate
Blake.
it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. It was
Thanks again, Blake. Take
Oh,
care,
you have
bud.
to
We'll
move things,
talk
gentlemen.
soon.
Yeah.
Alrighty, boys. Take care.
see ya, brother.
See you.
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that was what a blast having him on.
We
He's
touched
got
on his
such
figure
great
skating career,
stories.
boys.
No, I know. I was honestly.
I just thought about it now.
You bring it up after he's off, eh?
Right the second he gets off,
Throwing
you
him
bring
on
up his
that
figure
bus.
skating
Might have been
career.
sitting on
He
that
can't
one,
even
eh? He might
defend
have been sitting on
himself.
that one. Heard he took 109 pims on that too. All right, moving on.
Moving.
Just throwing him on the bus right after he hangs up, eh? Wow. All right, boys, let's get into some other hockey news here. Obviously, everybody's kind of seen and heard the news. This was earlier in the week about Tony DeAngelo. Obviously, we've seen that, the Rangers, he had a situation with the Rangers. They didn't like it, obviously, and have since waived him. He's cleared waivers. He's sitting at home. The Rangers GM, Jeff Gordon's come out and said he's played his last game as a New York Ranger. With Tony DeAngelo, he's had his issues. He got suspended multiple times in junior, a couple times for sure, for racial slurs. One of those times he was suspended for 8 games for a racial slur against a player on his own team. This was his 3rd NHL club in his young career. He's only 25. He was drafted by Tampa. Stevie Y said he'd give him a chance. They had to move on from him, obviously, because of stuff that was going on in the dressing room. Goes to Phoenix, Arizona, plays there for a year, and then they move on from him now to the Rangers. Seemed like he really had his career going in the right direction last year. Had 50 some odd points in a great season. Obviously, like he had put, it looked like he had put all that stuff behind him. And then this year, obviously, there's lots of rumors. We're not going to get into them, but obviously the latest one was that he got in a little tussle with Georgiev after the last game he played, based off of something that Georgiev had said, that DeAngelo had said to Georgiev that started that fight. Obviously it appears that he's a cancer in the room. I kind of want to get your guys' opinion. Obviously, all of us playing hockey, not at the level that Blake did, obviously, but knowing, what a cancer in the room can do to a team and how
we're
that.
Sitting here, right? I'm watching this Edmonton-Calgary game right now, and they just had Berkey on, and they just were talking about the DeAngelo thing there. Coincidence or not, I don't know, and they just showed, like, even in the first game there, when he took that misconduct, unsportsmanlike for slamming the door, like, it's not even just being a dink in the room. Like, he was being a dink on the ice, costing his team on the ice, and I think the GM did what he had to do for the greater good of the team. And if that's moving on, obviously he's not the first one, so maybe sitting at home is what this kid needs.
Yeah, like, by the sounds of it, I was just reading an article, like, it sounds like the GM of the Rangers is willing to let this kid sit the rest of the year if a trade doesn't come that he likes. Like, he's not just going to take a bad contract back or anything either. He made it clear he's willing to wait this out, and they're going to buy him out in the offseason if they have to. So this is quite the storyline. I know last week on the podcast, we kind of touched on these RFA players wanting out of their teams, like Victor Mete and Sam Bennett, and these rumors coming out. And here we go. We got I believe DeAngelo is still an RFA. And, and here we go. It's the flip of the script. And now the GM's got some control, and he's putting the player where he should be, obviously, based on some of the stuff that we're hearing, whether they're rumors or truth or whatever the case may be. But, some facts are facts. And I think personally, I think it's great on the New York Rangers to be bold and take this stand here.
Yeah, like where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Like, and after enough of these rumors come out, some of them, yeah, exactly. Some of them have to be. Some of them have to be true. Or obviously, there's whether they're true or not. There's a lot of negative things going on because otherwise, they wouldn't just let a $4.5 million player sit until they can find a decent trading partner for him. Just because obviously there's things going on that the public isn't privy to, but.
Well, did you
you know,
guys
it's obviously
see
bad
the,
enough
did you
to
see
make
the
him
video
sit.
there
So,
of
you know,
Panarin
like
and
I
was
agree
it
with you. Good on.
Shesterkin or whatever, kind of making fun of D'Angelo after their last win?
No.
No, after the win when they were going down the hallway into the dressing room,
No.
like Shesterkin turned around to Panarin and like said something, and Panarin like pretended to freak out and like made kind of a joke of the whole situation. So
Oh, no
obviously,
way.
like, they don't want him in the room. They're happy with him gone.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean that puts him in a tough. That puts him in a tough spot. Puts the Rangers in a tough spot. I mean, it's not good for anybody. That all being said, does another team take a chance on this guy? Like, how many clubs does he get a chance on? Like, is somebody going to take that risk and hope that he, you know, smartens up and gives him a chance to play on their team? Like, obviously he's got talent. He's a good player, but
Like
is he
he
worth?
was fourth leading
Yes.
scorer among
Yep.
D-man last year. Like that's quite impressive. I'm sure a team could use him definitely down the stretch this year, next year, wherever, plug him into the lineup. He's going to fit anywhere on any team. But like with his track record, I just personally I couldn't pull the trigger on wanting to bring him in if I'm a GM. That's just my take, but I would not until I know that he's gone through some anger management issues or some stuff to show that, you know, he's back on the right track. I just couldn't take a chance on him until he's showing some commitment from his side.
Yeah, I wonder if it's, I mean, a completely different situation, so please do not quote me on this, but Roberto Osuna for the Jays, obviously, you know, he got into some trouble, and the Jays decided to move him on to Houston. And when that happened, the Houston GM went to the room and said, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, and we're going to give him another chance. And then Osuna had to go in and basically tell the team what happened and kind of own up to his mistakes. I wonder if that's, again, completely different situation, but I wonder if that's something that, you know, if D'Angelo does move on to another team,
I would
that's
think
something
so,
they're going to have to do.
It's like no player on any team, given the track record. Like you got Panarin in the starting goalie for the Rangers making a joke about it. Panarin's a well-respected top athlete in the NHL. So when you see something like that happen, I think it's kind of sets the tone for what kind of player he
It
truly
says a
was.
lot
If a couple
to me,
guys
at least it does.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, to get on to some more cheery news, I guess. That was a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. It's we want to get on to the segment we started last week. Stefs can't miss bet. Steph, what do you got for us this week, bud?
It was definitely a hit. It was definitely a winner. And now if you bet the house, you own 2 houses. So let's go. Good for you guys. This week, it's going to be ironic, but I'm going back to the same game. It happens to be on a Monday. We got Nashville. We got Tampa. I'm taking Nashville for the win on the money line at plus 175. Put 100 down, win 175 back. It's a steal. They got good goaltending the other night. They took a loss, but they got good goaltending. I think they're going to bounce back and get a win here against Tampa.
Right on.
Good. There we go. So $100, you get 275 back. That's a great little bet. So that being said, let's move on. There's obviously, you know, the whole world is dealing with COVID, but the NHL is starting to see obviously the issues that are going on, especially in the States. You know, I think there's 5 teams that are under protocol right now that are delaying games because of all the COVID positivity tests. Since the league has started this year in the last 2.5-3 weeks, there's been over 100 players and coaches that have made the COVID list. There has been none in Canada just by circumstance. I think it's probably a lot to do with population, and the rules obviously being a little stricter here has made a difference. But that being said, you know, there's still lots of it as an issue in total in the league. I think that's something to keep an eye on, and we'll have to touch on that going forward, obviously. We don't want to see a situation where the league suspends the season or anything like that. I know that the league has recently taken out the glass behind the benches.
I just laughed because when I saw that, I just thought it was funny.
Sorry, go ahead, Steph.
It reminds me of old school hockey.
Back,
yeah,
like,
well, it's funny.
That's what I thought of right away. When like Patty Walsh said, "Trade me right effing now."
Yep. That's the exact same thing that came to my mind too. Was the Patrick Wall walking over to the whoever it was, the GM,
trade me right that thing now.
Trade me.
Supposedly, the reason they did it is so that it can improve air in the
If
building.
you spit forward, it comes back in your face.
Which, I mean, I guess it makes sense. They would. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to make a big difference. I think it's not what they're doing in the rink that's the problem. I think it's outside the rink. If players are allowed to kind of do what they want outside of the rink, and not to say that you should take anybody's free will away, but if you're going to do that, then people are going to get COVID. It is what it is. So unfortunately, it's affected the NHL hard. Like I said, we'll have to keep an eye on that
right, it looks like today,
and see how that
Colorado was supposed
see how
to
that
play
plays
St.
out.
Louis, and Arizona was supposed to play Minnesota, because I'm seeing it postponed on my NHL right now. And then it looks like they moved Arizona and St. Louis to play each other today. So obviously they weren't the two teams that were infected with anything. So at least they kind of made a game out of two of the teams that were infected and just made them play each other.
Yeah, it's a good way to make up some of the hockey, right? Like they're on a limited time schedule, so they have to make up these games when they can. Obviously, it's going to lead to a lot of back-to-backs, I'm sure, later in the season. We've talked about it, I think, on the first episode, Jeff, where basically, if the games don't mean anything, they probably won't play them. There's lots of scenarios where, depending on where the teams are sitting in the standings, they may not mean anything. If that's the case, they just won't play them.
Going to a 48-game schedule due to the fact of some teams are getting to a point where they're not even going to be able to fit 56 games in, even just for safety reasons.
And I could see that. That would be frustrating as a Canadian fan, though. Watching the Canadian teams, obviously they haven't had an issue yet. I mean, it could become one tomorrow. Who knows? But it would be frustrating, even for the teams in the States. You're talking about 5 teams that are locked out right now because of COVID, and the other 21 teams are still rocking and rolling. So that would be difficult. I think everybody wants to try to play as many games as possible. So to eliminate 8 games right off the bat, just to get it there, I guess it would make sense. It would just be frustrating. Like I said, we'll keep an eye on that, and we can discuss it down the road. Another interesting storyline that came out this week. I don't know if you guys seen the interview with Paul Maurice talking about how he was offended that the media seemed to be chirping Blake Wheeler a little bit. The whole argument kind of relied on analytics versus the eye test. I guess there's 2 questions I have out of that. One, what did you guys see the interview? And if you did, what did you think of Paul Maurice's comments? And 2, we're all at the age where we're kind of half-assing between the old school thinking of hockey and the eye test and new school in terms of analytics. So I guess to start,
I think that,
Steph, what did you think of Paul Maurice's comments?
He has to take care of 20 other guys, and if he doesn't see that Blake Wheeler is performing at the level he should be, I think Paul Maurice would not allow him to be in the situation or put him in situations that he has. He trusts him spots. So, I'm rolling with Coach on this one.
Yeah, I agree. You got to go with the coach.
Well, what do you think, Jeff?
I think he's he's the bench boss for a reason. They put him in charge. He knows what's going on in the dressing room. Like you guys all know, there's so much more than just what we see on the ice, right? We don't realize maybe Blake Wheeler was a -1 in the game when they only won 2-1, and he was on the ice for the goal against, and he didn't have any points. He didn't look that good, but
killed the DJ. He was DJ in the room and killed it. Got the boys fired up for that win.
Exactly. That's what I'm going for. We don't always see the fine details behind the scenes sometimes, right? And just playing the game, we know that there's a lot more than just what we see on the ice, a lot more preparation that's behind the scenes. We're talking about Blake Wheeler here, 17-18, and 2017-18, 91 points in an 81 game played season. Followed it up the following year in 18-19 with 82 games played, another 91 point season. So, last year he dipped into about 65 points in 71 games. So production's coming down a little bit. I mean, he is 34 years old. So, you're going to see him start to slow down a little bit, but he's still the leader of the Jets, still a great captain in my opinion, and I'm definitely siding with the coach on this one.
Like, he still has 11 points. At the time, he had 11 points in 10 games, so it's not like he's underproducing. I think the media at the time, again, they're talking about analytics. They're talking about stuff like goals expected. So if anybody who doesn't know what that means, basically when you're on the ice, the expected goals was, so his percentage was 34%. So that basically meant that the other team was outscoring Blake Wheeler's line at a 65% pace versus his 34%, or expected goals were 65%.
And that's just like individually Blake's fault.
So basically, like, again, and then it comes to Corsi. And
it's your fault.
Well,
it's all your
yeah,
fault,
I guess, like, it's him and his line.
I don't know. That's that of it.
Yeah. So it comes down to me. It comes down to possession. If you have the other team, obviously your expected goals for is going to be a lot higher. So you just have to have for him. But that being said, like we said, his stats were, he's still got 11 points in 10 games. He's still the leader of that club. We don't know what's going on in the dressing room. Obviously, Paul Maurice, has got to step up for his captain. So I get it. That probably won him some points, some brownie points in the room. And but that being said, he's probably, the media guy is still right a little bit too. The Jets aren't off to the best start in the world. And, if they're not possessing the puck as much as they should be, especially Blake Wheeler, he's a kind of grinded in the corner type of guy. He needs to have that puck to be successful. Obviously, he's got to get off the schneid a little bit, but he's still producing. So it's hard to knock him when he's still doing that. But it kind of reminds me of the Leafs in the Phil Kessel era, when him and Ozak were out there.
Right,
they're scoring a lot of goals,
so
but they were giving up more than they were scoring.
So you said with Line A and then Pierre-Luc Dubois coming in, and like there's so much going on at this very beginning. Like once it settles down, I think maybe they'll sharpen up and they won't be as poor as they are right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, again, another storyline to keep an eye on. I'm interested to see how Pierre-Luc Dubois does in a Jets jersey. Kind of curious to see how they can kind of get going here, obviously, with Hellebuck being a solid goaltender, other than the other night when he let that goal in from the other end of the ice.
And if that's like what he plans on doing with Pierre-Luc.
Well, exactly. And I think, him and Mark Scheifele, it's important that those guys, do that, obviously, with, but at the same time, I don't know if Pierre-Luc needs that really. Obviously, he was the top gun in Columbus, right? So does he need that mentorship? Maybe not. But I think just to get on a new team and be successful, I think it'd be important for those guys to do that for him.
If that guy's going to go out there and skate like it's a shinny hockey game in the National Hockey League,
I think he needs some mentorship.
I think he does need a little mentoring, my friend.
I agree with that. I was going to say that, Reese.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. That shift was atrocious, and he needs to smarten up, obviously. And we don't know what happened, but for sure, I think that's worth a mention.
I don't want to get too
Wheeler
much off topic with the Dubois thing, but I actually caught an interview earlier this week with Tortorella in Sportsnet, and it was really cool to see. Like, I know a lot of people have some backlash on Tortorella, even myself at times, but he just really demands a lot from his players, and he wants them playing at the best of their ability, and he really tries to get that out in them. And if he can't, I think he's not afraid to show you where to sit or to kind of get on you a bit. And like I said, we'll never know the whole story there, but it's going to be interesting to see how Dubois is going to do with this new start.
That torch tunnel can be deep. Like I can head down that one for hours. Yes, sir.
That could be a never-ending rabbit hole.
Torch just doesn't understand how it's like how you can't work hard, because that's all he asks for. Just go and play hard. That's all he wants. He doesn't understand if you show up to the rink and don't play hard. He's like, it's not that hard to ask. Like, it's not a hard thing to ask for. It's not asking you to go be an all-star. Just work your bag off and give him all you got. That's all he wants.
Yeah, for sure. I know you're a big Tortorella fan,
guy.
Steph. You I think you have a tattoo, don't you?
Oh yeah,
I-
right on my
I
belly
heard
button.
towards. I love it.
I
Really?
think, I guess kind of getting sidetracked here a little bit, but I don't know if you guys seen there were some storylines coming out of Winnipeg that the reason why Laine didn't want to stay there was that he felt like the environment with Wheeler and Scheifele wasn't healthy. That they were kind of a pain in the ass to deal with, and they probably thought vice versa that Laine was the pain in the ass. But I'm kind of interested to see how it's going to go with Pierre-Luc Dubois. Because obviously if your leadership isn't leading, it's going to be very difficult for your team to be successful. So, I don't know if you guys seen that storyline or not, but I thought that was interesting. And obviously that could lead to a lot of things in Winnipeg. If that's the case, then Paul Maurice needs to step in and maybe do something there, or maybe it's time for Wheeler to move on. I don't know what the case is there, but that was an interesting story I seen.
No, for sure, Ryan.
This week.
Thanks for bringing that story.
Did you just say like Blake Wheeler's not leading? That's really sitting on me here. Is that what you just kind of hinted towards?
Yeah, no, that's what it's not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's the story I heard this week. That there was some
the team in points.
Yeah.
There's leading. There's a prime example of leading.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. No, I know, but again, we were talking about cancers in the room with D'Angelo. Like, if there's a negative environment,
more like this is the media.
That's not good for the team either. Maybe that's
especially like a thing or two about media over there. So I'll never side with media. I think they're scum. Even if we're going to be some one day, we're still going to be scum.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's just an interesting storyline. Again, I think that's something to keep an eye on. We'll see how Pierre-Luc Dubois does in his debut with Winnipeg here coming up this week. So, Laine's had a pretty good start in Columbus. So let's wait and see how Pierre-Luc does, and we'll go from there. But Jeff, I wanted to say you did a really good job with your interview earlier in the week with Kyle there with the Florida Panthers fan. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the interview with Kyle, and also on the Florida Panthers. Obviously, off to a hot start. They're, I believe, 6-0-2. Haven't lost in regulation yet. Just keep on rolling away. Even with Bobrovsky struggling out the gate, he's letting in 3.5 a game, but he's 3-0-1. Their backup, Chris Drieger, also 3-0-1, but he's got a 1.97 goals against average. Just really doing well. Aaron Ekblad's off to a hot start. Former Leaf Carter Verhaeghe.
You had to.
He's got 6 goals in 8
You had
games.
to say it.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, no, they're just off to a hot start, off and running. So yeah, Reese, take it away.
Definitely a little nervous doing it. Kyle's a good friend of mine, and we chat at work often with hockey. The kid really loves hockey, and it was really great that he took that time to do the interview with us.
Let's give him a big hand. Yeah, woo!
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Kyle. You did an awesome, buddy.
One.
Awesome job, Kyle. It was a great interview, bud. And I know before the season, Kyle and I got to talk a little bit. I think he was a little uncertain before the season started of where maybe the Florida Panthers were headed this year, just because, losing a guy like Hoffman and Dandanoff, and I can't think of a few others. But if you think of who the GM went and brought in, right? I know Hornquist was I didn't think he would start off the way he has this early, but I like the move of getting Duclair. I think that was a really smart move. Me being an Ottawa fan, I got to see Duclair play a lot last year, and his first half of the season was unreal, man. That kid played with a ton of speed. Mind you, he was getting lots of minutes on the power play and whatnot, but just a fast player, decent set of hands on him, good vision for the net and where to score and how to score. And, second half, he obviously really tailed off, and, he took matters in his own hand and tried to get a better deal elsewhere, and it didn't really pay off for him. But it's nice to see that, Florida kind of took advantage of this situation, gave him a chance, brought him in. He's off to a great start. So, they got anyone with Huberdeau there, like Barkov, the captain, leading the way too. Barkov might be one of the most underrated hockey players in the NHL. I was just gonna say that, Stace. I totally agree. Like, you think of Florida and themselves, like, you don't really hear much about them. They get what, like 12, 13,000 fans a game. Like, they're last to Ottawa. Like, them and Ottawa are in the basement.
Huberdeau's a stud, like you said. Like, they got a lot
Hubert.
of talent.
They do have a lot of raw talent down there. So,
guys, not to interrupt you, but Florida's actually leading the league in attendance this year, just because they're one of the.
Give it to them, Ryan. Yeah, boy. Give them what they deserve, eh? Put some respect on that.
I love that.
Put some respect
somewhere the Panthers GM is just smiling right now, eh? Just sipping champagne or something crazy, but yeah.
They got more fans now than they did when there wasn't COVID.
But I think very, like Steph was saying, just a lot of underrated talent down there in Florida, and they made some right moves. They got some great rookies there, like Kyle mentioned. I know Tippett. I can't think of the other two off the top of my head. I know another one was a defenseman that they got brought up and going, and getting stellar goaltending from that Chris Dredger. And I hate to say this out loud, but I believe he actually wore the Ottawa jersey for a little bit too, and now he's got a new start. He's kind of rocking it out right now. So
I thought
what do you know?
PSN or something.
Yeah. But it was just really, really awesome experience to do that interview, and I'm really looking forward to doing more interviews. Stace launched a really cool name for the interview going forward to all our listeners. It's going to be called Steph. If you want to share on that, I'll let you take that away. It was your idea, man.
The 3 F's.
Yeah, well, I've always mixed them up, though. I'm like, is it fan?
No, I know, but I just feel like when I say 3 F's, people get a little nervous because they just might not know what these F's might be.
So is it
Friday's fans' favorite?
All right, Friday's fans' favorite. So it's just going to be a little new little interview process that we're going to do with the listeners from the podcast. We're looking for all sorts of listeners. Women, different teams all over the National Hockey League. Anyone that wants to come on and do an interview, you can get in touch with us, and we would gladly love to bring in for an interview when the timing's right. And we'll make it work. This Anchor app, we got to give a little shout out to them, even though it's free. It's real nice, easy to use, and it's easy for everyone to navigate during this COVID time, and just kind of draws us all in together, right? So it's been a really cool experience taking this little part role on as well, and I think it's been fun for everyone.
It doesn't even need to be about the NHL. Honestly, it could be like you had mentioned, women. You know, just talk, if we wanted to get some women on that want to talk about.
I think my mother-in-law would love to talk about Mitch Marner. Like, I think she would just love to just talk about him and how well of a nice man, young man he is, and well respected. And she's definitely a big,
beautiful big horse
fan.
Teeth. I love him.
Yeah, big. You know what? The kid can play the game. She's got it. She's definitely picked a good one there for sure. He's a little underrated out of the three of Matthews, Tavares. Marner can play. I'll give the kid that. Definitely. I know he does. I think he's like
he's got 20 points already this season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I mean. The kid can play hockey. She's definitely a gem there for sure. And he's not hidden either. Wouldn't mention that. He's definitely a gem in the Leafs organization, a great pick. But yeah, like just to that, we're looking for anyone that, like Rye said, wants to come on and do an interview, and it can be a wide range of topics, and just great to get some fan perspective from the podcast and some feedback and different things like that. We really are grateful for everyone listening.
We're people of the people. We're people of the people.
Exactly. You got it, Stace. You know, like this has just been a ton of fun for all of us here. We're having a lot of fun, and we're just glad that you guys are enjoying it and giving us feedback and helping us make improvements each week.
Well said, bud. Well said. Before we let you guys go, obviously there's a big event going on tomorrow. I think everybody knows what's going on, the Super Bowl. I want to get your guys' picks. Who is going to win the Super Bowl tomorrow? I know for the fans listening, this podcast you won't hear until Monday, but we are making these picks in advance. It's only Saturday night now.
First of all, I would like to say
who is going to win the Super Bowl tomorrow, Steph?
Manning, first out Hall of Famer.
Nice. Good shout out. Yeah, good shout out, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, got to give it to the
guy
played football and had a head like, so you got to give it to him. And my team, my pick for tomorrow is going to be, I'm going to go with I'm gonna go with the young buck, the gunslinger, the side armor.
That
The side.
Yeah, the owner. What is he?
Mahomes,
Half owner of the
Mahomes.
Kansas City.
Mahomes?
The Royals. Yeah, the Royals. Is it?
Is he actually?
Yeah. Smart
Yeah,
man.
I didn't know
Invested
that.
money as well. Did the
Yeah,
right thing.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with the young gunslinger.
The young gunslinger.
All right, Jeff.
35,
Jeff, who's your
27
pick
is
for
what I'm
tomorrow,
going
bud?
30.
Missed field goal.
All right, I'll
35-7. Okay, all
I'll
right.
go Brady. I want to say Brady, but I want to go back to the champs. Like, they deserve that respect, you know. So Mahomes, I'll go Mahomes again. I just think, you know, Brady and them, it's a great story. I just don't know if they're going to be able to get it done. Mahomes was just there last year. Maybe the concussions rocked him up, and I don't know that yet. Maybe we'll see that tomorrow, but I'll take the safe bet in my opinion, and that's going with the champs.
Come on over, baby.
On over,
Yeah.
And I'll go with a 30-28 score.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ooh, another tight game. All right. I am going to quote Mr. Whitney from Spittin' Chiclet. He basically, to paraphrase him, he basically said that, you know, if Mahomes wants to be better than Brady, he needs to beat him in this game. And if Brady wants to be the best ever, he has to beat Mahomes. You know, as much as I hated Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, the guy is a winner. He just keeps getting there. And for me, I think it's going to be him. I think he's going to win tomorrow. The Bucs are going to win 30-17.
He went on and off the field.
Tom Brady's going to cement his legacy as the best ever.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows what he's saying, Bill Nye.
I didn't say that, Rye.
Bill, the size guy. Bill.
All right, boys. It's been a slice.
It has.
Right, we should do that segment.
It's been a slice, boys. I really
knows. And we'll call it like the Now You Know.
Hey, to be fair, there
But you already did.
Someone out there who did not know who you guys were mumbling about, Iggy, who is listening to that podcast.
Oh, probably. I believe that. I do believe that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
That's all I'm getting at.
But if they don't know, then they need to fucking check themselves.
Can you believe that? For those people out there. Not only that, but if you're listening to this podcast as your first hockey podcast ever, good for you. That is awesome. I'm glad you're listening to Three Bozos.
And by the way, if anyone ever asked, Iggy assisted on.
Welcome to the show. Let's just say
just a little trivia for you guys that don't know. Again, just let you know. Yeah.
Thanks. Actually, that's a good piece of information, Steph. I'll give you that one. Yeah, no, boys, it's been a slice. We want to thank Blake again, or Moose, for coming on the show and sharing his claims. It was great to have him on. Hopefully, we'll get him on again here soon. But other than that, thanks for listening, everybody, and have yourself a good week.
Yes. I really, you know what, guys? Their first sponsor on the show, advertisement on the show, to come on board, and it was real awesome and encouraging to speak to the owner and just kind of get his take and be willing to give us a chance, and we're really grateful for that. And another shout out to Tiffany as well at Retro 21 Haircut Barbershop. Real big thanks to her as well, and we're just really grateful. Thanks, guys.
Take care of your lettuce.
Love it.